I started cricket completely by accident, really. Wanted to be better than my brother in the back garden, and decided to join him when I was old enough to play cricket, and then kind of got discovered at a young age again by accident and played internationally for 8 years before retiring a few years ago, and now take up this job.
Retiring. People retire when they're old, old-ish.
Yeah, I was 23 when I retired.
Okay, it's a sport, so I presume that you will retire early from a sport, no?
Yeah, so it was just I had other priorities, and decided at that time that international sport wasn't for me, and decided to go down and get involved in cricket in a completely different way, and I absolutely love what I do now, and I wouldn't change it for the world.
So tell us about what you do now.
I look after women's cricket around the world, making sure that events like this are complete hits in their countries, and trying to grow the women's game, so participation, more women in cricket as well, so as fans like yourself coming down to the stadiums tomorrow, and just women like me who work in the game as well, so just trying to get more women involved.
In my dreams, right, I had this perfect dream when I was about 12. Yeah, I think that was the year that Viv made the fastest century, and I think somewhere around there, that I was going to go into cricket, not spectating, playing. But at that time, women's cricket was not a thing, unless it was softball on the side, on the fringes, not a thing. Yes, people, I actually thought I could play cricket. Stop being cheeky. Yes, and so I'm just amazed at where women's cricket has come today. And you could probably share with us some of the challenges that has gone into, we're going to talk about the successes, of course, but what are some of the challenges that have gone into making women's cricket become as big as it is today?
I think when you first started, you had women in skirts playing the game in whites, and you had I remember stories around some of the women actually paying for their own blazers and paying their own way to get to international cricket, and it was very much you played for, you absolutely loved the game, and you just played it at a good level, and people were really dedicated to it for that, and sacrificed a lot, and now that sacrifice is now reaping those rewards for the future generations, the people that really fought to take women's cricket where it is today. And it's filling stadiums now. We're getting incredible performances, like Deandra Dottin is becoming a local hero. So it's fantastic the way that it's changed so much, and I might not be a part of that as a player anymore, but to actually see it from the sidelines is amazing.
You say from the sidelines, but you get to organize it all, don't you? You get to determine what's the next event, sort of, and put all the right ingredients there to make sure it's a hit.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I think one of the best parts of my job, I have a lot more to do with sort of the qualifying events, but part of it is sitting back and watching the cricket happen and knowing that you've helped make this happen, and you've helped build an atmosphere, you've helped create a legacy for a country, that's the part of my job I love.
So I know we're going to go to the ICC T20 women's cricket, but just you're also responsible for the regular test, the women's test cricket?
So yeah, we
do.
We have regular bilateral cricket, which
right.
forms part of a competition.
Mm-hmm.
So our main competition is the ICC Women's Championship,
right.
And that's a qualification structure for the ICC Women's World Cup, which is every 4 years. Mm-hmm. And there's lots of cricket and T20s as well that goes on in between. So making sure that the international game runs, there's also a lot of cricket outside the events that gets played.
This is probably not a cricket question. Do you have any vacancies? I can come back with you. All right, back to serious things now. All right. So this year we are having the first standalone T20 women's tournament. I'm curious, do you know why there was a decision made to let the women's tournament stand alone?
Yeah, it was a definite conscious choice, and it was 100% the right one to give the women their own tournament, their own chance to shine, and to give proper marketing and promotion, and for the whole kind of country to come for a women's event. and not be an additional match to a men's game or be overshadowed by them. They're having their own limelight, and quite rightly. The performances are showing that, and the attendances are showing that there's a demand that people want to get behind the women's teams.
What would have driven? I'm assuming that a number of countries would have bid for this tournament, this first ICC's women's tournament. But why the West Indies? I mean, we're not complaining. Don't get me wrong. I'm just curious. Why the West Indies?
I mean, it's a brilliant region to play cricket in. Everyone you can see is passionate. I don't think that I've ever kind of witnessed a kind of crowd or vibe like it for a women's game as such as it was in St. Lucia the other night, I think. And it's great to bring women's cricket to this region. So I'm really glad that the current world champions are defending their title in their home country, or their home countries, should I say.
I will leave the Ryan after you're gone. I wouldn't put you through the head. But so tell us, were there any particular challenges getting it? Because I know, especially for our region, the logistics of, I guess in other places, it's one big country. But in our region, it's a number of countries that you have to contend with. How has that experience been for you?
Yeah, I think in any tournament, when you take it around the world, there's always going to be completely different challenges and completely different cultures. And I suppose working across a couple of different currencies and a couple of different governments, and it's the nature of the region that this is played in. So it's just one of those, another thing that we have to overcome. And I think the organising committee, the local organising committee, and also each regional staff has been brilliant in their collaboration to get this event on. And I think that's been what's been such a success, I think, is around the teamwork around the different islands and countries.
I think it's safe to say that for our region, that cricket is a passion. That's the first thing. And our men have not lived up to their place in our hearts that we have traditionally been accustomed to. I'll give you an example. My son is 18, and he's like, cricket, okay, whatever. But since the last World Cup when they did so well, I think we've all been following, and but they have been mostly consistent. And so I think for us in the region, it was an easy sell. The women are here, they're doing well. Okay, just step on board. I think it's a very easy sell. Questions though. Another question. Our Caribbean flavor. I know there's entertainment everywhere, especially when you watch like the IPL. You see there's a lot of entertainment, but that's a nice confined entertainment. You've had St. Lucia and you've had Guyana. How has it been for the ICC team in terms of the way how we party at the games?
It's been amazing. It's been, like I said, an incredible atmosphere. We had people, I was in Guyana for the final match, and we had people who weren't leaving after the cricket. They were staying for the concerts, they were staying for the party, and I think that we've been very adamant in that we're playing cricket in the Caribbean. We've got to keep the Caribbean flavour. We've got to keep the atmosphere. And it's for you, as in it's for the local people as well. And although it's an ICC tournament as such, we've got to make sure that, the crowd enjoy it how they want to too, and they party how they want to.
And I know this probably would be a difficult question for you. I only thought of it as you were responding there, but because we hosted the one-day ICC World Cup previously, and it took a while for there to be an appreciation of the Caribbean style of enjoying the game. So I'm just wondering, I don't know if in the prep for you that they would have brought those lessons forward, because we are noticing in Antigua, we were watching the cricket very closely in Guyana, and especially in St. Lucia. Our girls were in St. Lucia, and we noticed that there was this freedom that was allowed to do real Caribbean cricket, which we appreciate. So I'm just curious if when you were prepping, if there was any consideration taken into account that we needed to make sure that we got it right this time in terms of allowing the Caribbean flavor to just filter right through the event.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I wasn't involved personally in any of the stuff that happened a while back, but I certainly know that some staff wanted to take the lessons they'd learned from the previous event into this one and make sure that it was for the people. And I think we've done a brilliant job, and the LOC have done a brilliant job in making sure there's transport and making sure there's appropriate ticket prices, and and I think that's showing by expecting a sellout over the next few days.
I was just coming to that. I've heard this is Caribbean scandal. I don't know. I'm not putting you in the middle of it, but I tell you, Caribbean people are very scandalous. So we in Antigua were alerted by Darren Sammy publicly that St. Lucia sold out. And so he wanted to know if we can better St. Lucia. I am going to tell you that we will better St. Lucia, but that's just for me to say we will. But you can share with us, how has sales been so far with the feedback you've gotten from your team?
Yeah, I mean, sales have been incredible. I mean, compare it to, so we had the Women's World Cup in England last year, and attendances will be smashing it out of the park. And I think definitely get down tomorrow. And I mean, just a moment ago, I was in town and I saw
the lines.
Yeah, I saw the lines for the ticket office. People are queuing, and not on the gate the day before to get tickets because people are worried they're not going to be able to get in tomorrow. So I think it's...
You have no idea how significant that is for the Caribbean, but finish your point and I will share that with you.
And I think that's a big sign. And I saw that at the Women's World Cup last year, where we had people queuing for the gate because they couldn't get in and they weren't there in time. And now we've got queues here for the ticket office the days before. So sales have really blown us away, I think. And we just need to make sure that everyone with a ticket gets themselves there.
Oh, they'll be there. The ticket is the first one. We don't waste tickets in the Caribbean. What I wanted to tell you about that, what you're witnessing that gets you excited, it gets us as a people even more excited, because we haven't had people queuing for tickets like that in years, especially in Antigua. And Antigua is known as, I'm going to say it unapologetically, the Mecca for Caribbean cricket. That's where the party, the calypso cricket, everything happens right here. And so when we heard, I mean, you heard the buzz, there's a line. Everybody's like, there is no line in Antigua for tickets anymore. No, there seriously is a line. And then you realize, no, there are lines at all of the places, the ticket outlets. And everybody's like, no. And if you were able to follow our social media in Antigua, you would have seen people posting photos of this, because for them it was a phenomenon. This hasn't happened in at least a decade that we've had these lines. So not only, I mean, I know most of us are going out to root for the West Indies women, but I can tell you in Antigua in particular, there will be people rooting for every single team. I'm not kidding. I'm not exaggerating. There will be people here rooting for the English in particular, and there will be significant numbers of people rooting for the Indians. I can absolutely guarantee you. And there are some leftover relics, I'm going to call them that is not for you, who will also be rooting for the Australians. So every single team will have very good support in Antigua for this finals, these semi-finals and the finals coming up. I just want to shift a little now. We're still speaking women's cricket, but for you, I mean, you've played the sport. Have you seen any growth in the quality of players, just in general terms, and for this tournament in particular, are there any standouts that, things that we in Antigua can look forward to, so we can look out for that player or anything like that?
Yeah, absolutely. I personally would not want to be bowling anymore in international cricket, because I think I would just be smacked out the park. The standard is improved phenomenally. The athleticism of all of the players. The fielding of the West Indies team the other night was electric. They were, smashing down the stumps, like hitting it direct. And I think the other thing is we've got more heroes. So Deandra Jottin getting a 5 for 6, the best figures in women's T20. You've got Matali Raj, legend of the game, becoming the highest ever run scorer in T20 international cricket, and that's both men. So she's got more runs than Virat Kohli, and women. So we've got those players now who are, like I said, household names in their own countries, and hopefully they can grow that to around the world as well.
Where do you see women's cricket in general heading? Do you think it would ever get to the point where we can be on equal grounds in terms of competing with, wrong choice of words, in terms of the recognition, let's not use competition, in terms of the recognition that women's cricket will get from the international community?
Yeah, I think absolutely. I think that's where we're aiming for, and that's kind of, that site's getting ever and ever closer. I think, like you said earlier, around even in Antigua, we've never had queues for the ticket offices in 10 years, men's or women's game, and the women are the ones that are making those queues. I think that's a fantastic sign. And I think that the game has moved so quickly in the last 2 years. It actually not scares me, but excites me around what the next 2 years is going to bring, because, you know, the world is we're riding on the crest of a wave of women's sport, and that's just not cricket, that's all sports. And we need to make sure that we don't get complacent, that we keep pushing the boundaries, that there's still incredible cricket, that we still keep backing these women to do their thing in front of crowds of, 12,000 people. So I can only imagine what's going to happen in the next 2 years, if the last 2 years is anything to go by.
Yeah, I think that we are looking for a phenomenal setting. But tell us about the viewership. I know we've been talking about sold out crowds in the region. What is the feedback been internationally in terms of, TV, social media? What kind of feedback?
So we are pushing this out to more territories than we've ever done before for a women's event. So we're in 160 territories roughly around the world. We're going to China for the first time for the final. And we've been pushing a lot of highlights, clips out onto our digital channels. And I know that they are up there and competing with some of the men's ICC events from previous years. So nice. We are doing fantastically well, and all of that in a relatively challenging time zone. So there's people staying up to watch late, to watch all the highlights that we're putting through. So it's the viewership's there and people want to watch it.
In terms of the development of, we've spoken at the high levels where the competitions are going, but I'm not sure I'm asking you the right question in this particular issue, because ICC is about competitions and getting everything done at the top level. But in terms of the development, like I'll give you an example. In Antigua, we're watching the cricket. We are very excited about the cricket, but we have not yet had a woman break through to the West Indies team. We're looking at breaking through to the Leewards team. That will then take us up to the West Indies team. And I just ponder sometimes about in terms of the development component. Can our young girls now look forward to know that, look, there is Dottin, there is Haley, we all love Haley, there is Haley, there is Aguilera, the whole crew, and not only them, we've had arguments in Antigua about the Bangladeshi women, the Indian women, yeah, the men mostly, you wouldn't believe it, but are we surprised? No. And I'm just wondering, what would you recommend that we do? Small island, limited resources. I mean, we have a lot of natural talent. We have a lot of women that play softball cricket. I think per capita, we probably have the most women playing softball cricket in the world, probably. But we don't transition to the traditional hardball game.
Yeah.
What would you suggest that we do, if anything, or what lessons are there that we can probably pick up from somewhere else, if anything?
Oh, you've really put me on the spot there.
Oh, I'm sorry. We can walk past.
No. I mean, I think the first things first is you know your country much better than I do. And for me, personally, I think that cricket is cricket. And it doesn't matter whether it's a softball in the back of the park, or whether it's hardball or with pads, or it's at the stadium. I think cricket is a sport to be enjoyed by everyone, no matter what level or no matter what facilities, and that's what I find is the beauty of cricket. It unites people, it builds families, communities, and it's a social sport. And so if people want to still continue playing a lot of softball cricket, then that's fine by me.
But the softball cricket does not produce the economic opportunities as the hardball cricket does.
That's true.
And in terms of the professionalism, a whole career. I mean, if we use you as an example, you started off with the playing side, and now you're on the other side in terms of administration and management. I think too, for me, I know we're talking about the cricket under field, but I just wonder also if we could share with our our listeners and viewers, opportunities on the other side. Yes, we have the women on the field, and that is where the action is. Everything is designed to heighten that excitement. But there are also opportunities for women off the field.
Yeah, absolutely. And actually, this tournament has been a prime example of how many women have been involved off the field. We've got a tournament director who's a woman. All our venue managers have all been women. I reckon it's the highest percentage of women staff we've ever had for a global event. And I think it's been brilliant. And it's not because that was a statistical aim. It's because they were the best people for the job. And there are definite opportunities for more women in our sport, and we want to make sure that that the right people are going forward for them.
So ladies, just to note, yes, we want you on the field, but then there are also all these administrative, managerial, technical even opportunities that as women we can also begin to explore, because cricket is a business, it's a way of life. It is a business, it's employment opportunities. And I'm stressing that because, I mean, too often, especially in the region, we kind of box ourselves in that these are the kind of professions that we want to have. And so it's okay to open up. So I want to thank you, Holly, for coming. Ladies and gentlemen, we have been speaking to Holly Colvin. She is the ICC Women's Cricket Manager. And I can't tell her to tell you to come out, because clearly we have that covered. I can't tell her to tell you to come and party and enjoy the girls, because clearly this is Antigua. If anybody else has it covered, we certainly have that covered. So, Holly, I'm giving you a challenge. I've taken away telling us to come out. I'm telling you to come. What would you like to be your parting words to the Antiguan Barbuda public? And the Barbudans are probably going to come over on the ferry tomorrow, so you'll be having all of us.
I know you've got the party covered, but I want you to really deafen us tomorrow, and I think
careful what you wish for.
And I would like it to be a game of cricket that I will never forget for the atmosphere. I think that's something that I want for tomorrow.
Yeah, actually, I agree with you. As much they're West Indies, we got this, and the theme is watch this, but we expect it. We know the Australians will not be lying down, and we know that game between India and England should be one for the ages. And so I'm just want to thank you guys for choosing the Caribbean, choosing the West Indies. ICC, thank you very much for the first ever women's standalone T20. I'm sure we have already made it one you will never forget. I'm wondering how soon we can come back up in the rotation. Yes, I'm being mean, I know. And I rest assured that Antigua will put the icing on that beautiful cake of memories, and we will have a wonderfully successful tournament. So thank you very much for coming this afternoon and sharing your time with us. I know it's a very busy time for you because it's just on the eve. In our words, one more sunset until the big event. And so I want to thank you very much for joining us. Thank you, Shalita, for arranging this for me. And Petra Williams, on my personal behalf, I want to say thank you to you. Thank you for the whole team. And of course, on behalf of all the fans of We're the Ones and Antigua and Barbuda and the Caribbean. And we all look forward to a great game tomorrow. See you in the stadium. No, I will be somewhere sitting and partying. You won't be seeing me unless you walk really close by, because it's the one time of year that I refuse to do any work. If it's football, you may find me working basketball. Yeah, but cricket, nah. It's to be watched and enjoyed. So thank you very much for coming in, and enjoy the rest of Antigua. Go to the beach. Go to the beach.
Thank you. I will.
All right. Take care. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you very much for tuning in, and we will be right back as soon as I...
The microwave shocked me again. Honey, we need some new appliances.
I know just a place where we can find all the appliances we need at the most affordable cost. At Dynamic L&L Enterprises, they offer a wide range of stoves, microwaves, cellular phones, televisions, and toaster oven. They even have generators for the hurricane season, and so much more.
That sounds great. We should give them a call. Oh wait, remember we're supposed to be having a barbecue this weekend.
No worries, my dear. They offer grill rentals as well. The number to call, 1-268-734-7994, or WhatsApp us at 717-8090, and check us out on Facebook at Dynamic L&L Enterprise.
have a God-given purpose. We all have our own unique assignments. And as we prepare to usher in 2019, we need to be certain of God's direction for our lives. The All Saints Pentecostal Church Kingdom Life Center presents the 4th annual Journey to Shiloh under the theme Restored Glory for Your Divine Assignment. Join Apostle Cedric Forbes and guest speaker Apostle Stephen Andrews for 3 power-packed nights of seeking God's direction. On Wednesday, December 19th, find out what God's direction is for the church. Thursday, 20th December, find out what God's direction is for the family. Friday, 21st December, is the Covenant of Oil service. Find out what God's direction is for your individual life. All 3 power-packed nights are 7 p.m. nightly. The 4th annual Journey to Shiloh, Restored Glory for Your Divine Assignment. The All Saints Pentecostal Church Kingdom Life Center, Wednesday, December 19th to Friday, December 21st, 2018. Usher in 2019 with confidence to fulfill your divine assignment.
What if something was to happen right now? Maybe your car won't start because your battery died, you lost your keys, a flat tire, or even if you were to run out of gas. Who would you call? What would you do? Well, if your car is insured with state insurance, you won't have to worry. Just call the AutoPlus Response Unit at 481-7888. AutoPlus is a complimentary roadside assistance service offered to anyone with coverage from state insurance. Get protected with state insurance and secure the unexpected. Visit the offices on Redcliffe Street or call 481-7800 to learn more about the AutoPlus service. They're always there when I need them to get me back on my way. It's another first from State Insurance Corporation for your protection and our economy.
Let's all remember to drive safely. If you're drinking, don't drive. Get a designated driver. To all the texters, remember, it's dangerous to text and drive. Wear your seatbelt at all times. Adhere to the speed limits and be courteous to all road users. This is a message from the Antigua and Barbuda Transport Board. For more safety messages, stay tuned or check us out on Facebook and Instagram at Transport Board ANU or go to our website at www.transportboardanu.com.
There's no getting around it. Funerals are very expensive, and the last thing we want to do is to leave that burden to our loved ones. But thanks to State Insurance Corporation, you don't have to worry about it. With our funeral expense policy, your family will receive up to $50,000 towards your final expenses. A huge relief at a time when they'll have enough to deal with. Call State Insurance today at 481-7800. Ask about our funeral expenses policy. Secure the unexpected. State Insurance Corporation, for your protection and our economy.
Broadcasting from the Point community, you're listening to Point FM 99.1.
Yeah. Tell somebody. Tell somebody. Spread every rumor, tell who you want, but I come here to vet. I come here to draw me waist on everything. Even the man know around this time, there's no discretion here. So if you vex, you vex. I promise you that going out. This jam go bring out the wickedest part of me. If you think that I go miss no joke, you make me open your mouth to save the last time.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for staying with us. You are listening to We Are the Ones on Point FM, where we discuss for the people, by the people, all about the people. And we just concluded our first interview with Miss Holly Colvin. She is the ICC Women's Cricket Manager, and she just shared with us the philosophy behind why the ICC Women's T20 Cricket is being held in the region and their expectations for Antigua tomorrow and Saturday. So, ladies and gentlemen, the bar has been set. The benchmark has been established, and it is up to us to set it home. So, see you tomorrow at the stadium. The game begins at 4. The gates open at 2. And there are apparently a few, emphasis on few, a few tickets left to be purchased. So, see you at the games. And now we go to our next guests. In studios with me, if I tell the arc, I don't know his proper name. I'm saying so now quietly so he don't hear me. So if y'all hear me, don't tell him I said so. In studios with me this afternoon, you know what? Let's do it the proper way. This is Kaiso Session. I have in studios the president of the Quadadli Calypso Cooperative. I said that correctly?
No. Quadadli Kaiso Collaborative.
Okay.
QKC.
I don't like the QKC. Too close to some other negative things I want to think about. So let me go. It's the Quadadli Calypso. No. Quadadli. Kasi ba the summer tap my tongue.
Quadadli Kaiso Collaborative.
Okay. We have them people there. And representing them today is the president. Kasiba. Disgusting Kasiba. No, that's not true. Kasiba the Calypsonian. Disgusting Eugene. Right, that's better. And along with him, we have one of my favorite Calypsonians. He doesn't know I like his music. Never know who may be with you, all right? The Ark. Gentlemen, welcome to the studios.
Good afternoon.
Welcome to Weird. Mr. Ark, what is your proper name? See me, I call him Mr. Ark, and it's The Ark.
Some call me
Hi,
some call me Bye.
What's the one that's on your bread paper?
Oh.
Yeah, that one they are looking for.
Edmund Blaze.
Oh, you're related to the...
Yeah.
Brother.
Okay. Rupert Baba Blaze?
Yeah.
No wonder I love your music. I understand that now. Not anything to do with him per se, just the music in general. Okay. All right. So, gentlemen, welcome to, as I said, We Are the Ones. And I know that we have some music to release, but I've been trying to get y'all in the studio for the longest while to talk about the collaborative, and Kasiba is going to tell me that he's not here to talk about that. I'm sorry for for me backyard. So let's begin. Tell us.
We have to talk about it because that's what is the driving force behind everything. Is the organization.
Tell me, why did you decide to go on this adventure, this new adventure called the QKC?
We just wanted to change the whole idea of what we had before. The Wadadli Calypso Association. We believe we had some issues before with that, and we said to ourselves, listen, we believe the best bet is for us to actually start an organization on our own, start it from the bottom, and build it to where we want it to go with all the ideas that we have, instead of working on something that had some issues.
And how has it been so far?
It's moving slowly. We're moving slowly, although we would like it to go more faster than that.
But it's moving.
Yeah, in terms of membership, we're still on a membership drive, and remember you promised me to join. And as we said before, that it's not just for Calypsonians, because when we look at it, we realize that, hey, if we want this organization to grow, we're not going to be able to get it to grow if we depend on Calypsonians, because most of the times during Carnival, Calypsonians focus only on Carnival and Calypso. So the association business will get left behind. So we need to get others involved to be a part of the association, so at least we have some sort of synergy where in the process of the association and the work will just continue all during Carnival.
What are the main objectives of the QKC? In general.
It's just to promote the art form. We at this point in time realize
it can't just be just to promote the art form.
Yeah. It's basically about the art form.
Okay, let me rephrase. What about the art form? And let me couch my questions in a bit of a lengthy soliloquy. I hear people say that the calypsos and the calypsonians of today are not as good as yesterday. And just last week, someone and I had that conversation, and I started to ask them about writers, who's still writing today and how many years they've been writing and who all they wrote for. And for example, one particular calypsonian was switching from writer X to writer Y because he felt he would have a better chance with writer Y, until I reminded him, but writer X has produced so many kings. You understand where I'm coming from? And we still have so many of the arrangers today who were arranging yesteryear. Of course, we've had new arrangers in the pool. So I am not one of those who subscribe to the fact that the so-called message that the calypso of today is of a poorer quality than yesteryear. I'm not one of those people. So,
and I'm glad you're not.
Let me put that out there. But having said that, there are lots of people who would say that what they're getting today, the market is not buying. Let me put it that way. The market today is not buying what the calypsonians are putting out. That's one thing. And the second thing is that, no, this is where I would agree, is that the times have changed. And so what would have worked maybe 15 years ago in Antigua in terms of calypso will not work today.
In terms of sales also.
In terms of sales, even in terms of the presentation, because you have so many competing factions. So within that context, what is the QKC looking to do?
We're trying to see how we can take the whole situation out of that same box. The bracket that you just spoke about a while ago, we're trying to see how we can try to get the whole idea of calypso out of that same situation. We have a lot of objectives in terms of but I can't name them yet. I don't know if I can probably name them from what we have. But there's a lot of objectives in terms of assisting calypsonians, promoting stuff in terms of having shows, try to do some fundraising and so forth, because in order for the association to really work, you must have funds. So it's a lot of stuff, initiative we have in mind, and maybe I can assist me with some of them.
To begin with, I can understand that the box that we are accustomed to actually have calypso perform or exist in can no longer be, because times have changed and men have changed. Nowadays, the reason why you don't have the purchasing of music as much as before is because people don't have to purchase music. In today's world, is only the premier performers who make money from the purchase of music. That's like the Beyoncés, the Rihannas, the Jay-Z's, whatever it is. Even in this day and age, our main icons, when they do produce anything, short shirt, swallow, whatever, they still don't get any buying percentage of the market that is going to tweak the needle anyway, because in today's market, the young people don't look at music as something that they purchase. They look at music as something that they download from some free
transfer from YouTube.
Yeah, YouTube is probably one of the biggest examples you could use where people download music for free. So I don't think that we should look at the producing of music and the selling of music as a way of actually getting notoriety in this day and age. It's the exposure of your music on all these platforms that will begin to give you notoriety so that you can perform and so that you can make money from performing. Because most entertainers who make money now make money from performing, not from recording. Recording is a vehicle to get them notoriety so that they can become marketable, so that they can perform. I think the best way for us to right now calypso in the Caribbean as its root form, which is Caiso, is suffering. It doesn't matter where you go. Trinidad, which is supposed to be the Mecca, to St. Kitts, St. Martin, anywhere you go, calypso in its root form is being outperformed by soca. And the reason for that is that the young people are not that much into the seriousness of the art form. They're into the party, the jam and wine, the lots of liquor, this, that, and the other. When they drink liquor, they're not thinking about anything but wine, 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 choke, 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 choke.
But can I interrupt you both on that point? Because last carnival, I surveyed 6 bars that sell at ARG during carnival. Soca Monarch and Calypso Friday. They sold more liquor the Calypso Friday than the Calypso Monarch, than the bear with me, than the Soca Monarch competition. Just for observation. Because I know that that's one of the things that people like to see, that the soca gives you more of the wine and the rum drinking stuff. But the more mature crowd holds it better. And once they sit down and they get under their liquor and their soca, they go through.
But you have to remember.
The Calypso, yes, Calypso, sorry.
You have to remember that the young people only go to all-inclusive to drink. They don't go to a show to go and buy liquor as a shot by a shot by a shot.
Agreed.
So it's a different kind of drinking atmosphere that they are in than what they're accustomed. The elderly person. Elderly person will go and they will buy 3 drinks, and at that point, either the pockets start to call out or their stomach start to say, I had enough. That's
but
not
the
how the
elderly
young people
are also going to, the more mature crowd, I'm not going to say myself as elderly, the more mature crowd are also going to inclusive fats. So one of my questions to you is it perhaps time for, as we talk about the notoriety translating itself into performance, is it about time that perhaps Calypso shows and productions begin to revisit the packaging of what is offered to the crowd?
You're 1,000% correct. Not 100, 1,000. But the thing about it is that what we're trying to do with the new organization is to get inside the minds of the average Calypsonian and turn it inside out.
And just you can mention the reason for the motto. The motto that we have for it is professionalism and quality soars above mediocrity. And that is what we want the Calypsonians.
That sounds like Kasiba.
That is what we want the Calypsonian to grab at. We want the professionalism and we want the quality in the music.
Mm-hmm.
You understand? And that is what they need to buy into.
So your main target market is your Calypso fraternity?
No, it's not.
That's not your key stakeholders. Because to my mind, they're the ones that you need to move to the next level, raise the game.
The thing about it is this. Like Kasiba and I have sat down and we have analyzed something. In every organization which has just Calypsonians, there is always a problem with the elevation of the organization because of the lack of constant commitment.
That's an Antigua
commitment
thing.
It's
an Antiguan thing.
You can call it Caribbean right now.
Oh God.
The thing about it is that Calypsonians by nature are people who get up for competition. After competition done, it's like they don't have.
They go straight into
the erection gone. So they actually.
I like that one. Add that one to my coitus interruptus. Yes, go ahead.
Well, that's why they get up. They get up for competition. After competition done, they pack up their wares and they go about their business until next. And that is one of the main issues that we're going to try to get out of the system. I think because of competition, Calypso is where it's at. Most Calypsonians don't see the art form as something where they have to put in to get out of, in terms of performance, in terms of professionalism, in terms of stick-to-itiveness, in terms of continuity. They don't see all of that is necessary for them to rise. They think that if they come every year, they sing in a tent, they probably sing for 5 weeks. They don't make it to the big yard, but they have had 5 weeks of free tent singing because they don't put nothing into it. Maybe they buy a song and they sing for their fans, and when they finish, their fans pat them on the back and tell them, "Good job this year. You sound good," and they go back home.
Satisfy them.
And then the recycle starts next year.
But you know, another thing to picture. I mentioned this to Ark before, is that this association basically is just to build a platform for the upcoming generation in Calypso. I am not really focusing on the present Calypso because they're going to phase out shortly. But we need to set a platform for the younger artist that is going to get into Calypso.
And how?
I mean, if we don't do that, basically, if we don't do that, basically we're going to fail them.
So how do you propose to do that?
Well, we propose to do that in a couple of different ways. The first thing, to establish any stable platform, you have to have a stable nucleus. Because without a stable nucleus, the atom will be all over the place. And to create a stable nucleus, which we haven't had in an organization for a while, is that you have to have people in the organization besides Calypsonians who will create this nucleus. People who are more business minded, people who are more planning oriented, people who can see a vision other than competition every year. There are many ways that we can market ourselves. Like you just pulled up the song that we're gonna play for that we did as a group for Christmas. We went to Facebook and not to Facebook, to YouTube, and Kasiba said, "Go to Qualadly." You press Qualadly, and right away the song came up. So we have our own. It has a couple songs in it besides just that song that we have been posting as people come into the organization and they have their songs that they want to get exposure. Because exposure is a 365, 24/7 kind of a thing. It's not a Calypso thing. So as the platform on YouTube gets more and more exposure and more songs go up, people are going to start to go there to look for songs from Qualadly, Kaiso collaborative members. And that's one of the things that we're doing. We want to also establish a secretariat. Because without a secretariat where people can come and banter and pass ideas and fight and cuss but
fight and cuss is important, eh?
But they know that it's a place.
Get it out your system.
Where they can go and rub shoulders, and it's a place where you can bring people to also understand what you're going through and get them interested in joining the organization. So therefore, that's another thing that we very much want to do. The
other thing too is that, as we mentioned before, if we can try to get a piece of land from the government, and Ark is an architect, he already drafting something.
Well, we want our own entertainment.
Yeah, but the land is one thing, but now you have to then raise the resources.
But you see, it has to start with the kernel. You can't go and ask anybody for money to do something if you don't have a place that you're going to put it.
Vision, man. Vision it out.
So this is the whole thing. If we have the land, it is part and parcel of the kernel or the acorn that needs. Because guess what? Once we can show, I know at least 2 or 3 philanthropic organizations who are into developing art, who we can probably write to and present whatever it is, or do a thesis or program and get some money.
So have you put in your proposal for the land, is it? In writing?
That's the president's forte.
Mr. President, have you written to the relevant stakeholders?
Work in progress.
All right, good. Okay. So now let me change it just a little focus before we get to the main event for this evening. What are your plans for 2019? Summary, tight.
First, we want early music. Second, we want quality music. Third, we want proper production.
First, we want proper production. Then we want early music. Then we want quality music. Go ahead. I was just waiting for that one to give you the order. Because that has been our problem.
But guess what? If you don't have the music, you can't produce it.
Listen, I'm going to put myself in official hot water now. Lyricsman regularly produces very good music with very good lyrics. Yes, he gonna come out last minute because that is his. He says that's when he gets the funds. But you know what Lyricsman's biggest problem is?
Production.
They sound good on stage and only on stage, and so he can't get the exposure needed because the music sounds like crap. I'm gonna get in trouble if you're listening, and I mean, I'm not sure it's his fault because it costs money.
When you say it sounds like
it doesn't
you're talking about
quality.
The quality of the production. Not his live.
His live is awesome. I mean, he normally has very good lyrics and so on. But when you listen to it on the radio, and not only him alone, I pick him up because he has so much potential and he's young.
But guess what? Lyricsman knows that, It's not that he doesn't know it.
But he says it's because of the resources.
Exactly.
But
so how do we fix that?
The other thing to picture, what I notice is that artists just want to hear themselves on the radio.
No, in his case, I know he has fought that. But generally, yes, we know we want to hear yourself. Yeah.
Lyricsman is my good friend.
That's why I could call his name. Okay,
he's doing well, and I want him to continue to
work. Oh no, LSA is a whole different story. Okay, but I'm looking at. I don't want him to give up the calypso. That's why I pick him out.
But
because he's gonna give it up.
And Calypsonians just want to hear themselves on the radio. So even if you knock up some little thing and put it on the radio, they're satisfied with that.
That cannot.
And that is what we want to get away from. We want to change your whole mindset. We want to see the professionalism and we want to see the quality in the music. And in reference to what you said with what we have in the pipeline for 2019, we are going to have a show. Later down,
not a competition.
It's going to be a competition during Independence.
It's going to be a competition.
Well, it's going to be.
But it's going on a different format.
It's just going to be something that's different.
But it's not a competition, or it is a competition because you both gave 2 different answers.
No, what it is, you can't just throw out the competition gene right away. You can't, because that's what brings and drives the mentality of the Calypsonians now. But if you begin with a show that has everything different to what you know a show is supposed to be, and we can't really say
what it is I understand, but you will, so you won't just be waiting on the Festivals Commission putting on events to participate. You will be having your own events.
Right.
What about the 10th season?
The 10th season is the 10th season. It starts. We're trying to do. The thing about the 10th season is that people keep on saying start earlier. But in starting earlier, if nobody comes,
they gotta come. I agree. They gotta come.
Then it's money that's expended for a band, for lights, for sound system.
At least $15,000.
That nobody is
paying any mind to.
Yeah, and you just so it has to be looked at in a different.
No, but you see, I gave Festivals Commission a suggestion to actually mitigate that situation. I mean, it's going to happen year after year if you don't do anything. And I said to them, listen, let us change the way how we judge. If you have a 10th season, you say, listen, we're going to have a 10th season. We want to have eight weekends or 6 weekends. And we're going to have judges judging all them weekends. And maybe from a pile, how they're going to arrange it, then you actually pick out the best scores from that.
But
so artists must.
But it doesn't mean that
but the artist is not the problem.
That
it
the
is the
people are going
audience
to show up.
You need to get the audience back, and that is the
because
challenge.
to be performing for roaches and rats.
No, I believe once you get it out, then
you know what?
Marketing, it can happen.
You know what? Let's just say that you're inspiring a little more hope in me. You know, last 10th season. But he hasn't publicly scolded me yet, so let me scold myself before he scolds me, because normally he knows I am a 10th staple, and last season I could not be found because the vibes had just died. I mean, I resurrected in time for semifinals, but that is not my style. So I am hopeful that whatever you guys are doing, it will motivate, and there are many more like me who didn't do our usual calypso duty. So Kai is so calling, the QKC is calling, and they're looking to do things differently, and in keeping with them doing things differently, I'm going to give you a little snippet, and then we will continue our discussion. Inspired this West Indianization? No, that's not like an Antiguanization, of a traditional Christmas staple.
QKC.
Okay.
That's what QKC is all about. We are actually trying to change up the entire aspect and approach to how we deal with Calypso and with the Calypso fraternity. It's a group effort by QKC members. It's something different. It's something topical. It's something timely. And it's the beginning of things to come.
I know the traffic was horrific. I'm like, okay, that's a sign of the times.
let me mention something about that. When we came up with the idea in terms of having a Christmas song, and Ark and I spoke online, and then I called Kevin and told him about it. He took it to a different level. Kevin said, listen, I'm on board with this. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to get my guys, the video guys, to come on board. And they all came on board. And Kevin do the producing. He and his son, Keandre.
Oh, little Keandre?
Trust me on that. while we were there singing,
Little
Keandre, while we were there singing, and Kevin was actually in front guiding us basically what to do. Keandre was the one behind the consoles.
Nice.
Stopping and playing and rewind.
Well, true, Kevin.
Keandre doing that. And I'm maybe in the next 2 years he's going to be better than Kevin. Because one thing, he's not going to be as stubborn as Kevin. That's another one.
I'm not getting involved with you and you're dropping word for Kevin. Carry right on. Save Kasiba from Kevin, please.
Kevin and Kasiba won.
But the video guys, ZW Creative Media, I mean, the guys are good. I mean, in quick time, the guys do the video. We were supposed to do another video, basically, but what happened, we didn't have the time. So we had to do the shots that we took in the studio, actually at the base. We did this at the base, Panam base. And I must say thanks also to Mr. Major Benjamin, who actually gave us, and Penny Feather, who actually gave us the room to use and so forth. We had John Jonas, I keep on saying John Jonas. George Jonas. John Jonas worked with me, that's his brother. So
It's okay.
We have George Jonas and Bradley Francis and all. It was a good camaraderie we had that day when we did the recording.
It sounds good. I mean, the quality on YouTube sounds good. I have to listen to it on the radio.
But he couldn't make it back from St. Thomas. He have a lot of work down there doing. Blondie was supposed to do a line. Dr. Prince was supposed to do a line. Also, we had...
So we get a part 2?
No.
Because I can't now, so you can do a part 2.
We were trying...
No place like home for the holidays.
Keep going.
Because no matter where Point FM just be.
Oh, I love that. Go ahead. Go ahead, Noah. Go ahead. You done?
You know, we're supposed to have 2
You need to give us 2 more lines. That can become my Christmas clip. So go ahead.
2 juniors were supposed to be with us, but they didn't show up, so we just couldn't wait. We just have to do it.
I see you have Lady Ali in there. That means
she's a Calypsonian.
Let me finish my question.
Okay.
Is she coming back?
Of course, she's coming back.
This 2019? 2019?
Yes, she's coming back.
Kasiba is not her manager. He can't say yes or no.
She's coming back. Trust me. All
right, no problem. I am
time.
going to say this in total Antiguan style. Miga Akshi, Amiga Harashi, and then she come back. Right? Okay? That's at the end of that. For the time she go sing in this year, that on signal that she not left the art farm.
She never.
She need to come back. Need to come back. All right. So, gentlemen, in wrapping up, is there anything else that you'd like to share? Because I'm going to wrap up your segment with the rest of the song, and I'm going to close out my show with the entire song. I like it. I like the local flavorings, even with the traffic being horrific, because the traffic is horrific.
When you hear the next verse, you will understand too.
What kind of phrase would I put in it?
No, when you hear, no.
Oh, okay, good. All right. So, is there anything else you'd like to share with us as it relates to the QKC, the way forward, where we're heading, what's next?
We are looking to, in January, do a membership drive. And it's not, the membership for this association is not for Calypsonians only. It's also for Calypso enthusiasts, Calypso lovers, and patrons of the art form. Because we feel that we need everyone, and including musicians too. We feel that we need everyone on board to make this association dynamic and powerful, and for it to rise, because Calypso is not just cultural, it's historical. It's actually it actually was created from the bowels of the slave movement. That's where it started. So it's not just cultural, it's part of us.
Our DNA.
And so therefore we need, as a collective, not just a Calypsonian collective, but a collective of lovers of the art form to come together to help it to rise again.
Like pan players like Jawat and so forth, innit? Yeah, all these guys need to come on board.
All right. So on that note, then, Kasiba, any parting words from you?
Basically, I want to say thanks again to all the guys who participated.
I'm not in call me to sing back up, but yeah.
Right. I mean, in terms of Kevin, I must say again, thanks to Kevin, his son, ZW Creative Media, and George Jonas, Bradley Francis, and all who gave their best wishes and support. We just say thanks again. And before we leave, we also want to express sincere condolences to
I was
the
going to do
family-
that at the end of my show,
the
yes.
family of
Squiddy.
Squiddy.
Mhm.
And as I said before, that we'll keep them in our prayers and just be strong.
Let me tell you why. One of the reasons why you guys need to get your YouTube together quickly, right? I wanted to open this show with a song from Squilly.
I couldn't find one either.
And they send me
Not even a
to
picture.
this place. They send me to that place. The last thing Kenny, yes, I got called Kenny's name on the radio. I go make him no vex in a good way. He tell me go ZDK to see if I can find a Squilly. We need to have our artists on in an archives online, so that not just for this, but like for example, I was explaining to some young people about, he says to himself he's the best dressed Calypsonian, and I couldn't show anything to show that when he refers to himself as the best dressed, what we talking about and where we're heading and so on. So gentlemen, I want to thank you both for coming to share with me on We're the Ones down at Point FM. Ladies and gentlemen, we have just been speaking to the ARC and Kasiba, members of the QKC, the Quadadli, Kaiso. I keep saying Quadadli, Qualadli, Kaiso Collaborative, and we were talking, about the collaborative and the plans, and they were here also to introduce us to their Christmas rendition, No Place Like Home, which I am going to play now as we head out of this segment and into the next segment. So, ladies and gentlemen, do feel free, give a listen, and of course it's available. I know it's in rotation in a number of radio stations, and you can listen at your convenience on YouTube.
Where you
what you thought about song there, Jonathan? You hear them gone all kind of session, them talk about abstaining Christmas ham. Zachary and the Zachary and the donkey. I'm sure the donkey that running from Zachary. And Douglas and the balls. And his soccer balls. All these things they found for Christmas. I like it.
Well, I didn't really hear it in its entirety, but it was passing. It's all right, and it's a good effort because we need to do more things like that, right? So have our music featured somewhere.
Ladies and gentlemen, the voice that you're hearing, and Jawatu, you're live on Facebook. I just need to let you know that. But ladies and gentlemen, the voice you're hearing, and we're the ones now, is the one and only Jawatu. Jawatu, what's your first name?
Jawatu.
Jawatu, what's your birth paper name?
Joseph.
Okay. Joseph Jawatu Henry. Ask you what your name is. You think about Jawatu. I mean your birth paper name, dude. Oh, you have a birth paper name, you know.
I'm tell you, because if I say Joseph, nobody going to know who it is. So, you know, maybe all my parents will know.
Hey,
you know what I mean? So.
All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, yes, the minute you hear Joseph Jawatu Henry is in the studio, you should know what that means. That means we're talking pan. And the pan that we're talking is Geminites, moods. I pause because you know it's Geminites, but you have to add it's the Geminites moods of pan. It's November.
West Indies oil Geminites.
Oh, my apologies. You see, now you need to see. We have the West Indies oil Geminites moods of pan, and we're talking the 2019 edition. And of course, that's why Jawatu is in the house. But Jawatu knows that. I wonder how many people in Antigua know anything about Jawatu. Jawatu, you're not playing pan, what you do? Just out of curiosity.
Wow, career civil servant, right? Well, when I was at school, I was a track athlete, but you know I got injured, right?
You used to run, jump, skip, and hop.
Everything, real good.
Wow.
Right?
You never tell me that part.
Well, you know, me and City West man, right? And I participated in everything: cricket, football, you know. But then I gravitated to pan, right? Well, from PM school, and I stuck with it because I loved it. Then I got deeply into it.
Mm-hmm.
And while I was into it, I realized that we need to do more to keep it going, keep it alive, and keep it relevant, right? Especially since everybody, you know, fighting about who originated it and things. And we have such a rich history in pan, right? And it's just that we just need to just document, you know what I mean, most of the things that we say, because it's arguably that we may have been the first for a lot of things when it pertains to pan. It's just that no one really, you know, documented, right?
So the documentation of our pan story is one of the things that we need to get cracking with.
Yeah, we need to get that.
Right. And then we also need to make sure that those things that we were the first in, that we have stopped, that we resume, and the ones that we have, we make better.
Yep. Okay, for instance, it's argued that we are the first who actually played with rubber and sticks to change the sound, right? You know, but there's nothing there to document it, right? So
I am going to do an entire month
of
bringing people right here in the studio before you all vanish, and even if we just do the oral history, and then I will start there to do the written documentation. I've started writing, but that is not the subject for today.
But just about 3 weeks ago, Deadly, my partner, and myself, we did an extensive interview along with Sam Robert with Denley, you know, Denley, right? And it was so
Sunday? Sunday?
No, we went by his house and did it.
Oh, okay.
So we have it actually recorded.
Oh, that's great.
And there's so much things, so much first, so many bands that we hear about that we never really hear about. So when you believe that some bands were the first in the particular area, according to him, you know, there were other bands.
Yeah, I mean, when I had what's his name there, Babu on. Babu started playing pan at some little baby age of 8. Maestro and Babu organized band in Bolands, and so I was like, what? Hello? These things were.
Bolands had bands, Liberta had bands.
Yeah, I know, but I mean, you it's one thing to know that they had bands because you always heard about them, but then now to begin to get close up and personal with the people, some of the people who actually were instrumental in these things, and we don't know. But guess what? We can go online and click, and we know everything happening in Trinidad.
In Trinidad, yeah.
We can go online and click, and we know everything happening in the U.S. Steel ban. We can go online and click, and we know everything happening in Grenada, because I just checked. But I can't find out anything happening in Antigua.
We went. Patrick and I went to a conference in Trinidad a couple years ago, maybe about like 15 years ago, when they were farming cabbie pan. And I never forget this. And there was a gentleman. His name is Oscar Pyle. He was about 80 yards. And he stood up in front of me, Patrick, and he asked the question, why y'all think I'm here? We didn't know, because we never even seen the man, live. Then, but he was attracted by my title, Henry, right? And then he asked me if I was related to Eustace Manning Henry.
That
I said no, but I said,
but give me the message.
Not only that, I said, well, I live close to him. And because we're Henry, probably if I do
if you dig long enough,
maybe we're family. But he remembered Hell's Gate going on in Trinidad, and then he started to speak about the rich history of Antigua, right? And Pan and everything. So at that point we felt real good, because at least we can say
somebody knows.
Yeah, and not a conceited Trinidadian.
But he was so Antiguans need to stop it. All you're conceited. We are conceited just as them.
Okay, all right. Well, I guess
just that we don't write our story. They do.
Right, and he was all praises for Hell's Gate and Manning his exploit and everything. So and he was sharing the story with the other Caribbean brothers, because that's when the formation of Caribbean was taking place. Right? So some of our exploits are out there, but I guess we need to push our own thing, right? So we need to have a body of people dedicated to do the research, and then
you have to get paid for that. And I'm not saying it to make it a negative thing, but once you get caught up in research, it's all you want to do. And you have to live, you have to eat, you have to breed, and money has to come in to support that. But that's another story. One of the things as you mentioned, Carrie Pan, when we're going to do the history, because I was privileged to go with Harmonites to a regional pan competition.
Organized by them, right?
Yeah. It's Carrie Pan, I think. Yeah, we went to Grenada to play.
Yeah.
Hell's Gate was Harmonites had won the Panorama the year, and we went the year. Yeah, I was there.
I was there too.
Yes, that was an awesome experience, and then it just fizzled. What happened?
Just like anything in the region,
we don't sustain anything.
We don't sustain anything, and yes, money plays a big role, right? But sometimes we can't just say because we don't have the money we don't do it, because we can scale it down and we can continue. Somebody will come sometime and pick it up. Okay, for instance, if we took the same attitude with our Moods-a-Pan, right, we would have a Moods-a-Pan.
And speaking of Moods-a-Pan, I was looking in the Guinness Book of World Records, because I've been looking, because I think there's some things in Antigua that needs to go into that book that we don't pay attention to. How many years has Moods-a-Pan been around? 19 years. Any year you took a break?
No.
So you have had 19 continuous years.
19 continuous years, and this year will be the
20th year of Moods-a-Pan. So this is the 20th edition of Moods-a-Pan. Tell Antigua people what Moods-a-Pan is.
Well, okay.
Apart from saying we're the best in plan, play. I know that.
Yeah,
what else?
Definitely. Okay, Moods-a-Pan was a brainchild of the Gemini Steel Band in 1999, right? When we did our school-a-pan, and we had one of the most thriving school-a-pan back then, right? After we said, look, we have to do something to keep it alive, to showcase pan, to keep it relevant, to keep it, interested. Now, we had overwhelming support, but then funding. So we decided, well, instead of going just after Carnival, Independence, when you go to all these corporate citizens and have some money, so we said, look, let's do something so we can raise funds for ourselves. So we embarked on the Moods-a-Pan project, right? It was a one concert, because really and truly when we did that, we were thinking about the one concert, get some funds so we could buy some cheap pans so we could have for the
School of Pan.
For the School of Pan, right? It was overwhelming. It was a success. It was a different avenue of entertainment that people enjoyed, right? People came out there overwhelmed. Some of them, and the first artist was Len Books the Sharp. I think you were there, right? I think
You think?
Yeah, I'm not sure.
I'm hurt.
Right? And
I'm so hurt. Of course I was there.
after that experience, we said, we have to continue. I think the other year we moved to 2 nights. When we did, not 3 nights. I think the second year we moved to 3 nights when we did the Five Alive and 2 concerts. One on the Friday, one on the Sunday. One on the Friday, one Sunday, and the Five Alive. Because the Five Alive now, we brought into the Five Alive and the Muzipan scene because we wanted to improve players, right? And we wanted to add something else other than just standing up and playing pan. So we added the exciting kind of thing about it. Right? But as we go down the line, we will deal with the Five Alive. I know you like it. I know you want to speak about it. The concept of the Five Alive and everything. So
I feel like I go get interviewed for the Five Alive now.
Well, you can take that interview. I can interview you about the Five Alive. But in a nutshell, after about the second year, we recognized that pan need an injection. It need something where people will.
It needed something else besides the panorama competition, which at the time was
dumb,
iffy,
lackluster. Right, we were doing it because we had to do it to keep it alive, to keep it people playing. Because remember, at that time, a panorama was real boring. Right, it's the players, some of their families, and that's about it, you know. Right, and as I sit here, I can say the advent of the Muzipan, the advent of Five Alive, advent of 25 Side, advent of School of Pan, right, various School of Pans would have contributed to what we are seeing presently in the pan movement in Antigua, right, and those were some of what we were foreseeing, that when we do this, people will catch on, people would want to be a part of pan. Other bands will adopt School of Pans. We will embark on training. We will embark on...
The School of Pan certainly caught fire.
Yes, training and added concerts, emergence of soloists, emergence of arrangers, right? All these, right? We can say that because the Muzipan was there, it was another avenue for people to come and showcase whatever they've learned, both in pan playing, arranging, soloing, and even pan building.
Excellent. And what has been your personal? You have been a backbone of this event for almost as long as it's been there. You ever took a year off?
Never.
Okay.
Never.
All right. How do you feel about this event? You as the backbone in this, a staple.
Well, to tell you what, I've never been, I never feel let down, right? Because I know the challenges, I know the economic situation in the country, right? And I know it could have been and should have been far than the way it is now. But again, it's costly and probably is not priority, right? But eventually we will have to prioritize it, because every country needs a good national festival or a good music festival, right? And I think the Muzipan is the closest thing to having.
It's the only thing we have left. We started everything else and gave them away. We started jazz, give it away.
It's the only thing that we have close to music festival, and it's the only festival of its kind in the
OECS in particular.
In the OECS, right? So I feel good about it because with a little help here and there. And this year we were actually called in by the Ministry of Tourism, right? Because they believe, because they always give us an injection, right? So the then PS this year said, well, look, you need to know how this.
That's Mr. Christopher.
Mr. Christopher.
Remember, Mr. Christopher is a pan man, you know.
Yeah, but
pan man by default, thanks his daughter.
but then when he got in and see the finance, how this is finance and the amount of money.
That's a scratchy head.
Yeah, and he couldn't believe how we do this. You know,
that sounds like Mr. Christopher.
But through the years, because some corporate citizens know the relevance of the Muzipan, they would extend whatsoever credits, that they can give, and then after the Muzipan now, we play out, we have to pay back these, and so it's, but it's not something that we say we'll give up, because we know the value, right, that it brings to the country, tourism, and even the continuation of the whole art form.
So what can persons expect? We have spoken about Muzafan in general. There are normally 2 events. I know we're bringing back a third. There used to be 3. Used to be 3 or 2?
3. 2 concerts. One on the Saturday, the Friday.
The Friday and the Sunday were concerts.
Yeah, was similar.
And then the Saturday was a different thing, and then it became a new thing. Yeah. Right. So tell us about the main event this year. Even if you can't give us the final artist list, because back up. When is Muzafan this year?
Muzafan is the 8th and the 9th of December.
You're gone down in December? Why?
Yeah, usually...
Starts normally the last week in November.
Last week, which would have been this weekend. But this weekend is the cricket.
The
cricket, right?
Okay.
And then next weekend is Anglican Bazaar. We hold it at the... The other next event, the other next available time would be the 8th and 9th, which falls under the holiday of the VC, right? So... And we were actually thinking of moving it into December, because it's so close behind the school's panorama. And the players from school panoramas, most of them will be featured also in 25 aside. So you need a little breathing space. So we would see how this one works, but I don't know if it will stay there.
Don't want it on that weekend. You got to move it. It's great in December. I don't mind. But the holiday...
but I don't know if it'll be the 8th or the 9th or the first weekend in December.
Okay, all right. No, because the bazaar is normally the first weekend. Anglican Bazaar is normally the first weekend. So that will be one of your challenges. But this year...
There could always be a venue change, because if it goes, people
have been having that.
Yeah.
We've been sneaking that.
Yeah.
I've spoken to them to come and look, so I'll tell you that now. But so let's go. So on the 8th of December, on the 9th of December, which is the big night, we're going to have the big concert.
Well, let's go the 8th.
Okay, let's go with the 8th.
The 8th is the 24th.
I wanted to sell get them buy the big tickets first, and then work our way back.
Let's go on the 9th. And the 9th, which is the night that I like. We'll feature...
That's normally themed Another Side of Pan.
Another Side of Pan. Right. There's where you will see other instruments other than pan, and you may see voices, you may see soloists, you may see...
But all of it blended with pan?
All of it blended with pan, right? Vibes Steel Van will open the show.
Okay.
Right? A lot of people have not seen Vibes because they play more hotel, but they're a mixture of
I've seen them.
past old time pan man and some youth, because now the youth are right now rapidly integrated in that band. And so they have a good, they have good repertoire, very good repertoire.
Okay.
I've heard them and I say, wow, this band really need to come out.
Find a yard.
Need to come out some more.
I need to find a yard between now and then.
Right, and then we will have our comedian. We always do our comedian act, and that will be Nikki Crosby this year.
Okay.
We've always have a male dummy.
Yes. Sprangalar.
Fabian and
what's his name there? Tanti Merle.
Yeah.
That is not his name, but we know who we're talking. Yes.
Yes. Right, and then we will have we'll give Ibo Lashley.
He's celebrating a milestone this year, I think
it's
50 years.
50 years of playing.
Right.
50 years of playing band. So
I shall have him in studio.
Yeah, I think it's fitting that he make a presence on the music on stage, which is one of the biggest stage when it comes to pan.
Outside of Panorama, it is the biggest stage.
In Antigua, right? Now there is this group out of Canada, the Leo Meegup, right? Bruce Carrot and the Leo Meegup Project. Right now, I had the luxury of seeing them. I think they did a workshop here for a week some time ago. I think it was hosted by the girl Edwards from high school.
Carol?
Carol Edwards. Very good.
I think I remember that.
Where he came back and he had Happy Louis, the guy from Rains Combo, and so I said, okay. I went over, spoke to him. But funny thing is that he would have heard of Muzafan, right? So he was so happy when we invited him to be a part of the Muzafan. I think you have a mixture. You have some Antigua and the guy Brian Edwards from, I think, is Overside or something, who is a professional percussionist, right? And so we have him. But featured in his side is Duvon Stewart. And everybody knows Duvon as the guy from Trinidad, the hottest arranger right now, an accomplished soloist, right? So that is a show in itself. And also we featured on that night would be Aubrey Lockney Samuel.
Okay.
Right, so he'd be on that night. And as I mentioned earlier, another side of Pan will feature Gordon Edwards, right? I think he's the only classical pianist in Antigua, right? He will play, and along with another, I think his sister, who played the cello. So they're the two pieces. Nice. Right, so it's a combination, it's a mixture. So all the musical enthusiasts will come out, and you can be assured that you'll be well entertained.
And how much is that night?
And that night is only $75.
$75.
Only.
Okay. And then on the 8th, we have the 25-a-side competition.
The 25-a-side competition. Again, I will actually will feature with his band Heartbeat. With Heartbeat, you know.
Nice.
So it will be an IBO weekend also.
Nice.
Right, so he'll be there, and then you have all the bands participating, all the bands who took part in.
Who's the defending champion for that one?
I think last year we had a tie. It was I think it was Hell's Gate and Westside.
Okay.
We had a tie.
It was you set the you started the trend.
You
started the trend.
You know.
I thought the trend was going to continue for Schools Panorama, the senior division. I'm just saying, I thought so, but
you thought right. So so all in all, so for the weekend you spend $100, and that is
you get about $200 at least for entertainment.
For the quality entertainment that you will get, you know. So and we need the support, because Pan need to be recognized. Because I always say that even though Pan seem to be on the up, I still don't believe that it's being appreciated as much as it should. We still feel that sometimes we're just used and pushed in the corner.
Let's just say that Pan has its peak, and then the rest of the year you kind of get pushed into the private sector. Whatever happens to you over there, you get pulled out. So like, I know Pan will be on show tomorrow and Saturday,
something like that, but
when we have our people.
We need to be more, more out there, right? Okay, I guess I can say that we are also our own enemies too, because I don't think that we have done enough also for the sensitizing and the awareness and everything. So, I want to be on record of also stating that.
So what y'all waiting
on? But that's I think we need another show to answer that question.
Okay. Fine, no problem. I hear you. Now, I know that we're bringing back an addition. We're bringing back something that used to be part of the Moods of Pan. And let me say it clearly, ladies and gentlemen, you are listening to Point FM. We're the ones. This afternoon, my guests have been so far let me find it, yes. Miss Holly Colvin of the ICC. She's the ICC Women's Cricket Manager. She was here sharing with us about the T20 upcoming. And then we had Eugene Kasiba and the Arc Blaze. Both of them were looking at the Kwaladli Calypso Kaiso Cooperative, and they shared with us one of their their Christmas piece. It was a very nice piece, I must say, which we will have to play at the end of our program. Yes. Um, 19 years of Moods of Pan. It's the West Indies Oil Geminites Moods of Pan 2018 edition, the 20th one. And we were discussing that we'll be having, of course, another side of Pan on December the 9th. It's the weekend of December the 8th and the 9th. And we started with the big show. In terms of big tickets, it's the 9th of December. It's $75. It will be at the Dean William Lee Cultural Center. We didn't say what time it starts. It starts at 6:30, and they are normally serious with the 6:30, so please be there. It's the put on your nice dandan, come out, and enjoy yourself and be totally entertained.
And that's a good place for a first date also. It's a good place. You man, good place for a first date. A long time ago, it used to be the movies. It can be in November, or well, you say in December. Another side of the pan is a good night for a first date. No,
All right. So for those of you who are looking for that Christmas first date experience to wow the lady or the gentleman, Mr. Jowato has just indicated that Jabonite's Moods of Pan, Another Side of Pan, December the 9th, will be a great, perfect first date experience.
Yes.
Y'all serving wine?
Can be organized.
All right, cool. So we're good to go. All right. And so then we spoke of December the 8th. We came forward, $25. That's the 25 aside, where the Steel Bands of Antigua, they get another shot at the competition. This is, it's bragging rights earlier this year, and that continues to see with a smaller side who can turn it up. You normally take a non-calypso piece, any non-calypso piece, and you play it in the calypso timing. Well, some of them just kind of skirt the rules.
But this year we're featuring tunes from 2000, from the 2000 pop tunes from 2000 to present, right? And like last year when we
it's like Gangnam Style and so.
Yeah.
Gangnam Style.
Well, what you want to pick, right?
Are you dropping hints if they haven't done it yet?
And last year we had some interesting pieces, you know what I mean? And they really sounded good. Right, so
I told Mr. Henry to bring us some pieces so we could have played them. But of course, Joe Watton never listened to me now. But that's another story. And now I wanted to turn. We have a few minutes left. I wanted to turn to the reintroduction of the Five Alive.
Let me say ATV.
I hear this now. The Five Alive?
Yeah, the Five Alive, yes.
Joe, what to tell us about the Five Alive?
Petra, tell us about the Five Alive.
Oh, that's so unfair. Hey, the Five Alive is always one of my most entertaining times.
That's right. Yeah.
By the record, right, I'm going to tell you a story. And I'm going to tell you the story because it has to do with what one of the reasons why I like it so much. For about 5 years, Papi, of course, everybody know Papi. Papi, every year he would tell us we're entering. But we couldn't settle on it because he want more rhythm than pan. He wants somebody from the triangle, somebody from steel. He want one single tenor, and the single tenor must be round neck. And Lord, poor me and do it. And for years, Papi said we entering this competition. Five of us, family related, but we had to tell him it's more than one pan you need. He want one pan already.
No, it's five. No, it's five. No. See, that's where you had it wrong. It's five. No, any five. No. Become member.
Because once you had any form of pan, you're good.
Yeah, become member. Rhythm
do not tempt me.
Remember, rhythm is an integral part of the steel band.
So, for ladies and gentlemen, for those of you who missed those days, the Five Aside competition used to be Five Alive competition. Keep Pan Alive with five. Yeah, that was it. Keep Pan Alive with five, where Geminites allowed panmen, 5 people, to come dress up to represent your theme and just done the place. I think that's the best example of that. And the winner used to get like a change.
Yes.
And the last place used to get
I think we used to pay that according to the year. So I think in 2005.
Yes, $2005 and then yes.
This is first and last.
So we're in 2019. Right? So the first place supposed to get $2018.
No.
And then the last place get the pot spoon.
We gotta change it up this year. You know, we'll do first, second, and
I think you need a bigger pot spoon. You know, the pot spoon is just small, not real big. Anyways, the reason why I am so particularly interested in it this year, Jowato, and post our discussion, I wake up one morning and I had an additional epiphany. Everybody knows that I am a pan addict, a music lover, cultural lover, and so on. And so
Five Alive.
I decided that I have to find a way to, and I love Moods of Pan. Don't forget, I love Moods of Pan. Jowato here, and every year I have some session to give him about Moods of Pan before, after.
Some suggestions.
Right.
Innovation.
So this time I'm going to, and from time to time when I could, I used to do a little sponsorship, a little thing, nothing big, and I'm going to try a little thing again.
Well appreciated.
So this year, Jowato, and I have spoken, and I have put some persons on alert, and we will be sponsoring this year's Keep Pan Alive with 5.
Wow, I tell my children to call it tomorrow.
It's not a lot. But
it's all right.
It's right.
One of the specifics. So.
But one of the things that we're hoping is that we get to pay tribute, because we always forget our important people. And I know once my uncle was alive,
he
would been, if he missed everything else, he would be at Keep Pan Alive with 5, because he could tell me some session, who win, who lose, who whatever. And so I want Rupert Pappy Mussington Keep Pan Alive with 5. You didn't even know that's what I was coming with.
No, I didn't know. Well,
and I will.
You can do it. You can
do the appropriate resources to go along with that.
Somebody will come and speak with you and take it. Well, your good buddy is the coordinator of this, Patrick. So I guess I would tell him to come and speak with you.
Just send the treasurer and we'll talk to Patrick otherwise.
Okay, no problem. But you can consider it done.
Right. And you know why, ladies and gentlemen, I think this year you're focusing on the young people.
Yeah, the schools. Yeah.
The schools will be the ones the riot. And what time will this be held?
Well, we want to do a 5:30 start at the same Saturday night.
Okay.
Before. So you come
early.
Yeah.
And stay late.
Yeah, and we want right into the 25 side. Okay. There's no additional cost. It's still the same. Because
how many? That means you're going to be limiting the number of participants.
Yeah, we aiming for 10 bands, 10 school bands.
Okay.
Right now, if it's a case where we have
so like we got for eliminations.
Much more than 10. I guess if you have 12 bands, we can squeeze in the extra 2.
So suppose 15 people register. I have eliminations.
We will have to have this maybe one off on the Thursday. So we're thinking of having it on Thursday. Maybe.
I hope you have more than 10.
Yeah,
I just think the time has come because we limit ourselves so much in Antigua to the fact that, we only doing it one night, so we're going to have sufficient bands for the one night, as opposed to let all who want to participate come in. So like what we did with Schools Panorama this year, although everybody said it was good, I was so disappointed because the numbers dropped.
Yeah,
We cut out all the country people. The country schools were eliminated.
Well, I don't think we cut it.
We eliminated the country schools.
But I believe that was cut out.
We should do better.
Okay. From what perspective? From what end?
Peers, All Saints Secondary, Jennings Secondary.
Yeah,
the work must begin now to get them back.
So who are you blaming for that?
I'm not casting blames.
Okay,
I'm just saying the work must begin now to get them back. Willikes Primary, Bendel's Primary, Golden Grove Primary, and there was another one. The work must begin to get them back. And Liberta wanted to come in, and there was no room for Liberta. And Liberta have pans. Liberta have pans. There was no room for Liberta. Golden Grove Primary School played for their independence program and sounded beautifully. There was no room for them in the primary school competition. Willikes, the principal, tears. She was moved to tears.
Yeah, we spoke to her.
She was moved to tears. She moved me to tears. And there was no room for her in the primary competition. So it is not, we cannot throw these people away. All Saints, I'm sure by the time we get back for All Saints, the pan and then done. All Saints have pans, and we're not doing anything with All Saints Secondary.
I think All
what is wrong? What's up with that?
I think All Saints had.
Yes, but it's time for us to sit down with them and bury the issue. We can't be stick up for the good of the art farm. Peers, what happened to Peers? Because TJ reached a tongue now, what happened to Peers? And guess what? What he named from PM now out to All Saints Secondary?
That's McKellar?
McKellar is now at All Saints Secondary. So the tradition should re-emerge. If necessary, send Can back to arrange for them because he didn't arrange for Clare Hall. Can is now bringing through new arrangements at Clare Hall. So send him back to All Saints Secondary just to arrange. Not telling him from Clare Hall, people don't shoot me. But the point I'm making is, I'm giving you the last word, is that the energies are there and somebody, somewhere, I don't know who it is. So I'm not blaming anybody yet. But somebody's stifling this thing and we cannot afford to step back, Joato. So for you, we have a few minutes left. What would you like to tell the We Are the Ones community?
Well, come out and support the music band. And I'd like to make mention that presently music band is not a Gemini situation now. It's a Antigua situation. That's why we want, and that's why we made all the sacrifice to bring it to this point, so Antigua can benefit from this. So come out, support the band players, the band arrangers, and the bands by extension, because we have an obligation to ensure that the fight for the years gone by the stalwart panman, that it is preserved, right? And we need to leave it in good hands so at least they can continue.
Excellent. And I think that's a good note for us to leave today's production. And I would like to, of course, add my voice. Okay, so here's what Joe Water say. It's a good film for a first date. It won't be my first date or first time, but maybe I need to raffle a date with me to go to the
Well, you could.
I'm kidding.
You have my blessings.
Here it is. Yeah. And then you can provide security too. Okay.
No, not that part. Because you have my blessings to do that. Security part. Well, we have security up there, so you can, engage them free.
Ladies and gentlemen, there you have it. We were discussing Moods of Pan 2018. It will be the 20th edition of the West Indies Oil Company Geminites Moods of Pan. He says he thinks he's giving Moods of Pan to Antigua. I think there's no Moods of Pan without Geminites. And I want to thank Joe Water and his entire team for their dedication and devotion to ensuring that one of our products remains intact, because we know we've had so many entertainment products that we've had and have left us. So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Today, we are the ones. We want to thank you for staying with us. We want to thank all our guests, to include Miss Holly Colvin of ICC Women's Cricket, the women's cricket manager, who came down to the Caribbean from Dubai, and she's having a wonderful time, taking her to the beach on Friday. And then we followed that up with Kasiba and the Ark, where we were looking at the Kwaladli Kaiso collaborative, and they were sharing with us their Calypso edition as well as their plans for the future. And of course, we closed out with Jowato Henry, who from Geminites, who shared with us their plans for Moods of Pans 2018. On that note, ladies and gentlemen, I leave you with No Place Like Home, as produced and sung by members of our local Calypso fraternity, getting us started on the Christmas season. Of course, see you at the grounds tomorrow and Saturday. Women West Indies got this. Let's go watch this. Over and out. Have a good evening.
Let's swallow